Hello world, it is Thursday, June 24th, 2021, and a beautiful sunny morning today in Defiance. But I think it's going to be hot today and unsettled tomorrow, thunderstorms possibly. The devotion for today is entitled, No Confessional Required. It's written by Mary Ludy. Mary bases her devotion upon Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 through 2, adapted. If you find someone in sin, you who have the Spirit should restore them gently. Bear one another's burdens. Thus you will fulfill the law of Christ. And Mary writes, his seminary teachers thought John Vianney, 1786 to 1859, was too stupid to be a priest. But his pastor said he was pious, so the bishop ordained him. Then he sent him to a backwater where he could do no lasting harm. But in Ayers, population 230, Vianney found his gift. He was good at hearing confessions. He could patiently inhabit a confessional for hours on end, listening and probing, and encouraging and consoling, pardoning in God's name every soul who came. And come they did, from near and far. For 40 years, up to 18 hours a day, he absorbed every vice of the flesh, every grief of the heart, every disturbance of the soul they laid before him. Some knocked down commandments like bowling pins, governed by habits they never succeeded in breaking. He was moved by their willingness to keep trying. Others struggled angrily with God, having suffered terrible injustice, yet somehow they still wanted to forgive God. He was stung by their greatness of heart. And when the poor of the parish spoke gratefully about God's many blessings, he wondered, what blessings? And learned from them how great those blessings are. Thus it was that John Vianney became Saint John Vianney, by listening to people's lives, receiving their unexpected gifts, and bearing their burdens. You can bear them too. You don't have to sit in a confessional to do it. And Mary's prayer. Gracious God, give us the Spirit so that we may receive each other gently, listen to each other deeply, bear each other patiently, and fulfill the law of Christ. Amen. Well, in the Protestant Church, we don't typically, we don't do the sacrament. There is no sacrament of confession, and if we tend to do it, it tends to be a communal thing. Some do it every Sunday as part of the worship service. Others, like us, tend to do it during times like Lent. I typically reintroduce that as part of the liturgy. But we never really just sit with someone and listen. That's not to say that people don't come to me to talk, but it's not part of a regular part of our tradition. On the other hand, this devotion does encourage us to be a listening ear. Because sometimes when people come to us to talk, they're not really looking for solutions. They just need to get things off their chest. They need to expose what's going on and maybe ask for advice. But unless they ask, they're really just there to unburden themselves. And you can do such a great service to them by simply being present for them and listening, maybe asking probing questions to help them think through it, but spend most of the time listening and not talking. And I think that's really where we find Christ's presence in one another. And we can be Christ to other people by being present with them and just listening to their story. Hope you have a good day. I will talk to you again tomorrow.